Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Islamic Dilemma show about idolatry, the one that we have titled already The Great Idolatry. And the point behind this particular series is to prove without a shadow of a doubt that the Prophet of Islam is equal to God, according to the teaching of the Islamic sources, specifically the Quran and the Hadith. In other words, by the Islamic own teachings, Muhammad has been elevated from a mere human being and he was deified to be equal to God. And in some cases, we can show that he's even above the status of God. We have been going through a number of passages from the Quran. Today we'll continue with the same theme. Today's passage that we're going to look at least starting with chapter 7, verse 157, and it says, "The believers are those who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, whom they find written down with them in the Torah and the Gospel, commanding them to do right and forbidding them to do wrong, making good things lawful for them and bad things forbidding for them, relieving them of their heavy loads and the chains that were around them. Those who believe in him honor and help him and follow the light that has been sent down with him are successful." Folks, I can tell you that this has been taken straight out of the gospel. It's talking about Muhammad as the one basically that will carry away your loads. Have you heard this before? Matthew 11:28, "Come unto me, all you who are labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Here, that's exactly what it's talking about, that he will be relieving, technically speaking, relieving those who believe from their loads, from their heavy loads, and the chains that were around them. Okay, so he's the one who's going to release those loads. And in other ways also, he is the one that will dictate to you and command to you what is right and what is wrong, what is forbidding and what is allowable. He is the one that will decide what is halal, what is haram, what is forbidding, what is permissible. Does that sound to you like deity, a human being I should say, or a deity? I mean, it's very obvious that this is the prerogative of God, and now he, Muhammad, is being the one who's claimed to have that ability. And on top of this, reference to the light that came to mankind because Muhammad was sent to them. And therefore, as a result of this, he is the one that is going to lead them out of darkness. Gospel of John right there, speaking about Christ himself. Gospel of Matthew. As you can see that it's borrowed and taken out of the Bible itself and applied to the Prophet of Islam. Let us move on now and look, for instance, at another passage. In chapter 59 of the Quran, verse 7, we read, "You should accept whatever the messenger gives you and abandon whatever he tells you to abandon. Have taqwa of Allah." Basically, fear God. Okay? Now, what does that mean? Whatever the messenger dictates, whatever the messenger gives you, and whatever he abandons for you, you have to obey either way. He is the one that has the power to give you things, allow you to do things, command you to do things, and he's the one who will prohibit you and abandon you from doing things. Whatever he decides, you are obliged then to do that. Otherwise, you are going to be considered what? You are going to be considered as an unbeliever because you have disobeyed the teaching, and therefore you're not somebody that fears God. You are someone who is a rebel as a result of this. Notice that the fear of Allah is attached to these conditions. The whole thing is an if statement. If you do this, then the outcome is that you have feared Allah. But if you do not do any of these things, then the outcome is that you do not fear Allah. So the fear of Allah is conditional here by the mere fact that you are to obey the Prophet of Islam. In the next slide, we are going to look at yet another passage in the Quran that deals with this similar concept. Know by your Lord, they are not believers until, and right here we have a condition. So who are these believers? No one is considered to be a believer until the following conditions take place. Until they make you their judge, make Muhammad their judge in the disputes that break out between them. And then, the next condition, do not resist whatever you decide. And the next condition, submit themselves to you completely, without a doubt, 100%. When they do this, then they are considered to be believers. So what are the conditions for the believer? That they will make Muhammad the judge. Number 2, that they will not resist his judgment. And number 3, they will submit completely to his judgment. But I thought God is the judge. Apparently not so. Muhammad is the judge. And here's the beauty about this. Even though we know Muhammad has been dead for 14 centuries, his judgment, his decisions, his sayings still apply today. Almost every school of Sharia will be obliged to abide by whatever the Prophet of Islam have commanded or have dictated as a model for their judgment whenever they decide on any matter. Even though the Prophet of Islam is dead, his ruling still lives on forever, technically speaking, in the mind of a Muslim, even though we know that that's not the case. Nevertheless, thinking like a Muslim, for them, his commands will live on forever until Judgment Day, and only then that they will have to face the real judgment in front of the God who is their maker. And we will tell our Muslim friends the following. Our Lord Jesus Christ in chapter 5 of John told us that judgment was given to him by the Father, and that as a result of this, he will have the right to judge those that follow him and those that do not. And I do not want to be on the side of those that do not follow our Lord Jesus Christ. We want to be on the side of those that follow him, because only then we will have that hope in spending eternity with him. Only then we would have been among those who pass from death to life, as our Lord has promised. That's my invitation to you as well. Until we meet again, have a blessed day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, hit the bell so that you don't miss future videos. And please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/Sira International. And together we can introduce Muslims to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Thank you.